Out.
Take both sides of that way. What it costs so much is the shear room. This is where they cut up the metal. A lot of this stuff is new because about 20 years ago, Plume and Atwood had to change a lot of its equipment because it was old and we were getting a bad rap for pollution. But now, it does a real good job. Very little pollution comes out of those stacks now. But at one time, during the 40s, there was a lot. The boiler room, the outside of the boiler room, two buildings here are the boiler room and the powerhouse. That's where the plumbers and electricians hang out. And at one time, the main boilers came out of here, but now they got a lot smaller ones that they're on the inside, on that side. At one time, we had two real huge boilers. I'll show you a picture of them later on. Yeah. These streets have been walked by many people since 1850 till now. This part is new because of the fire. We had a fire here about 6 years ago, so they fixed it up. One time, the freight cars would come in here once or twice a week to load the copper and everything. Now, they come once a month. It's a miracle. Okay, that's the storage area of all the propane tanks. Right now, nobody's using them. Quiet like a ghost town, which this is a small ghost town right here. Nobody's working now. I think they have office workers, but the union people are all gone. I think last week was the last work week. 3 or 4 died. Yeah, this is still the powerhouse. Now we have here the major high voltage transformers. This plant's been around 1852. All the different families that grew up around here, and for a long time they were mostly from the east side. I can remember the old man saying to Ziggy that they got us doing what we had horses doing in the old country. I can remember as a little kid seeing an old man, Shabishko. You know, he was a giant, a man, bald-headed man that looked like he weighed 300 pounds, and I thought he was as tough as anybody in Thomaston. Let's take a walk down here and show you the stock room. The stock room. All the parts, small parts for the shop are in here. Joe Keating used to work here for a long, long time, but he retired, and now was the coldest place on earth for me for about 20 years. No matter what temperature it was outside, it was 5 degrees colder in here. I used to set the record for the 100-yard dash in here just to get out of this building. It is old. It's got so many leaks in it. When I was a fireman, one of my greatest thrills was to get up on this slate roof. I mean, it's a beautiful feeling. We used to have a fire here every year for about maybe 10 of the years I was in the fire department. But they fixed it up. But now everything is out of here. It's just a storage area. All that's in here is maybe a little sink. Mostly junk. Empty barrels. Way scrap. Over here is where they would condense it, because you just can't let scrap be like that, or you need maybe about 150 barrels a day to get rid of it. But by crushing it, they get a lot done with less barrels. We're going now into the cutting. And, cut the big bars. The bars would be like 4 feet by 4 or 5 inches thick by maybe 1.5 feet long. And it is cut with a saw in the next department. This is the shear room. I had a cousin here, Herbert. He worked here for about 45 years. Rough job, this whole building. The people in there had a little rougher. Every 15 feet you would have barrels of heat, where they would start a fire and keep the place warm. There was no such thing as warmness in this building. As you see, the roof, see all the grease up there, all the that's original. Place to go. I'll bet you it goes back to before the turn of the century. We've got new braces to keep up the ceilings, because they're having trouble with the sagging. This is Plume and Atwood's guy's favorite place. This is where they used to go for their smokes. Go for the breaks, and further down, that's where they used to go fishing, when there were fish in the river. This is a beautiful view here. You got the falls, ball field across the street. There used to be a bridge started about right now. There used to be a bridge going across the fish and the railroad station. That was our playground, well, 300 feet from here for about a mile down. At one time we knew every inch of the river. That was our playing field. And now it's changed. When I was a kid, this river was yellow, green, orange, violet, chartreuse, every color you could think of. That was the color of this river. They've done a real good job. You don't see any different colors. Okay, this is the boiler room. We showed the outside before. Now, for the guys that used to work here, you can tell your wives, this is where I used to have to go in and work. I'll see you in about a couple seconds. Coming into the boiler room, this is where the plumber had worked like mad. This is a fairly new system over here. They spent a lot of money to redo everything, and well, 3 years after they put this in, they're not going to use it anymore. This one is from the old one. I don't think that works anymore. And this is an old than anybody in Thomaston, that's for sure. This is the powerhouse. This is where Ernie Blau worked for many years. He just was let go about a week ago. But this is where the electricians had to work. You can tell by the walls that this is one of the original buildings. Lots of it are falling down. Compressors that haven't been running, maybe two or 3 years. Stock room. This is stock room. Downstairs stuff is locked up because we got some stuff in there, and this is the upstairs. This is older. This is where they keep a lot of their supplies. I'll bet you in a year's time all this stuff will be gone. Won't be anything left in here. I'll get rid of it. These boxes are older than I am. You can tell that they didn't care about being too neat, but a lot of this stuff hasn't moved. I'll bet you in 10 years. At one time it was a little neater than this, but to tell you the truth, I can't really remember when it was neat up here, but right now a lot of this stuff is just sitting around waiting to be auctioned off in the future. Then, pretty good shape, a lot better. Well, very little heavy work was done in this building, so this building is really kept well. The other buildings, no, you see the wear and tear on them, but this building looks pretty good, and it's got to be quite old. Well, that's a nice guided tour of the old stock room. Let's take a walk down toward the end of the building, and I'll show you the slitting department. Going into the storeroom and the slitting department. Yeah, this is the slitting department right over here. To my left, it's just storage now. We kind of clean up the place by somebody's been in here straightening the stuff out. I know it doesn't sound right, because it still is. Pretty messy, but it takes a lot of work to handle maybe 20 years of stuff being just thrown over here. But now they're trying to catalog it so they know what they got. This is the storage area. For a long time it's only been a storage area. The slitting department is maybe about 150 feet down the line. For a while, up to last year, they had quite a few guys working in the slitting department, which is one of the most dangerous places to work. But they haven't had a full crew, maybe a couple of years now. That's the beginning of the slitting department. One time